So we're going to do the stand assembly. The first thing we're going to do is locate the LG logo on the stand. That needs to be facing you. Once the LG logo is facing you, then we are going to have this piece right here, and the side with the screws, you want that facing away from you. Now, once that side is facing away from you, we're going to take this little groove. It only goes one way. It's very easy. You can see it. The larger piece will go right in here in this hole. So we're going to take the larger piece and we're going to put it in that hole. Now that it's in that hole, you're going to crank it back and you're going to hear it click. That's it. That's all you do. Now, some people might need to do it a couple times and ease it back until it clicks all the way, but really just give it one good tug like I did, and then that is the first step. Now, for those of you among us wondering, you basically have the instructions here on the back of the stand telling you exactly what I just did in that last step, but this is basically the more complicated way. They're not really making it seem as clear as it is by telling you the larger side is going to go, wherever and then pull it into place or whatever. But now we need to take our screws and we need to put it into this hole. But you have to pick the right screws because you have 2 packs of screws. Now, these are the 2 screws I was talking about. A typical rule with LG, anytime you see black screws, the black screws are always going to be to adhere the back of the TV basically to the stand. So this is what's going to go into the back of the TV, not the stand itself. So for the stand assembly part, we're going to need all of these silver screws. So we're going to take 4 of these silver screws and we're going to screw it into those holes. Now, with the stand facing towards you in this position, after we put the base on, the LG logo at the bottom is going to be in the bottom right facing towards you. That's how you know you're doing this right. Now, the top, it's basically you have these 4. It's going to catch here and here. If you put it at the top and it's going to go through here, you're going to put that little hook through here. And that little hook is going to catch and it's going to hold at this position, basically right here. This is going to be for a sound bar. You want to go lower if you don't really care so much about a sound bar, right? And you just literally hook it on. And I'll show you how it goes. You literally put it on like this, line it up, hook it on, make sure the hook sticks, and there you go. Now, we're going to flip this around the back, right? Okay. And we're going to get 4 more of those screws I told you about for the stand assembly part, and we're going to drop them right here in these screw holes. Now, once you put the screws in, you can see here LG gives their little diagram showing you how to do what I was just explaining. But in my opinion, it's a piss poor diagram that doesn't really show everything the way it should be shown. So I would ignore it personally. I would just do it the way I'm showing you in this video, because the way LG is explaining this is kind of crappy because the font is kind of small. So if you're somebody that has glasses and you can't really see all that well, or contacts or whatever the case may be, cataracts, who knows, lazy eye, I don't know. You get what I'm saying? If you got some sight issues, monovision, whatever the case may be, it might be very difficult for you to read this tiny ass font that LG put on the stand. So again, that's what this video is all about. It's really just helping you put this thing together in a way that makes more sense. And again, you know you're doing it right when you have the silver screws, because the silver screws are the only screws that you'll use for the base of the television. And then again, in real time, dropping the screws down won't take a terrible amount of time. The stand is heavy, so especially once you start going up in size, it'll start going up in weight. So keep that in mind. Now, last but not least, you're going to have this thing. This is wire management. You don't have to do this. This is optional. But now we're going to move to putting this on the back of the TV. Okay, so you see these little openings right here on the back of your stand, right? And the stand should be facing you like so, like this, right? But I'm going to flip it over and you're going to notice, you see these hooks, the hooks on the stand that look like this at the top. You're going to take those hooks, okay? And you're going to put it in this hole here on both sides, and you're going to feel it line up. And when it lines up, you're going to feel it drop like that, okay? Now, once it drops, then you're going to make sure you pull your power cable out from underneath if you did what I did and lock it under there, right? So now I'm pulling the power cable out and I'm streaming it down through here, okay? And Again, LG has the built-in power cable this year, which again, not my cup of tea. I don't like it. I think it's a pointless thing, but that's what LG did. But either way, you can see what I'm talking about when I say we have the power cable going down here. We have our hooks in place. Then we're going to go into the four corners and we're going to drop our screws. So as you can clearly see, we have our screws dropped, but I want to point something out. Okay, if you look down the screw hole, you're going to see an X shape. That's going to make you think, if you kind of look quickly, that there's a screw already in there and you're like, oh, how the hell do I put a screw in there? Don't freak out. That's just the threading, and literally your screw will drop just as easily as all these other screws dropped. And then from there, you just screw this in. So once you tighten up your screws, right, and you've got all four screws tightened up, we don't let the threading of the screw holes fool us, right? Now we're going to go back up to the top for this optional piece here. You do not have to install this, but you can. If you look carefully, you're going to see these holes right here. You're going to align the flat part. The flat part is going to be the top of this, and that's what we're going to align. The bottom is going to have these little holes, and again, that's where you're going to find these holes right here at the bottom as well. You see those holes right there. Okay, so then we're just going to align our pieces like so, and we're just going to snap it into place. If it does snap, great. If it doesn't really matter. It's just wire management anyway. And again, you can take it on and off as you need, but that's essentially how you install the stand on the LG G4. So now we're going to turn on the LG G4 for the first time using the magic remote that hasn't changed in years. Turn that bad boy on, and I must say, this looks extremely premium. Like, I am really liking the design of it. Now, initially, as I look at WebOS come on the screen, it looks very washed out. Every bit as washed out as every other OLED. Actually, I would kind of say it looked a little bit more washed out than what I've seen in the past. So again, these are just out of the box impressions, a setup, assembly, all that stuff that comes with unboxing. Now, again, I will be calibrating this to try to take advantage of it to see where it can go, but I'm going to tell you right now, as I sit on this screen here, really, really washed out. Like, really washed out. I'm noticing that. Do you want to turn on the... No, I don't want to keep this annoying crap on. I don't want that at all. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and select our country and region, and we're going to click United States, and then we're going to go time zone. I'm going to select my time zone. Okay, and then we're going to go into setup. I'll just use the what is this? The remote this time around. I could also go to store mode to try to activate the store demo. We'll see how I feel about that. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to switch my camera to manual focus here, just so we don't have any irritating, racking of focus or whatever. And I'm going to go ahead and lower how much light we're letting in as well, because I don't need us running into some annoying situation where everything is out of focus. Okay, so now we did that. We're going to go to the next, and we're going to select our Wi-Fi, and then you're going to put in your Wi-Fi password. After that comes the environmental analysis, basically your ambient environment, your environment as a whole, and how you watch TV and all that nonsense. It's just basically making sure that you have a paired device or something hooked up to the TV, which at this point in time, I currently do not. I will be hooking up my Xbox to show you guys some examples with Xbox. We're going to go ahead and skip, and then it's going to ask me about the antennas and all that stuff. I am not going to be doing anything for over the air. Instead, I'm going to select none, and then we're going to go to the next, and then it's going to ask you for your zip code. And honestly speaking, you don't really have a way out of this. This is for your broadcast, so that I guess they can figure out where to broadcast whatever to you. But yeah, no. I'm going to put my old zip code because it's none of their business, and they don't need to know what my zip code is. They need to stop being so damn nosy. That's my personal take on that, though. So we're going to go ahead and just skip on to the next one. Now they're going to ask you, is it stand mounted or wall mounted? For me, stand mounted all day. I just think there's something so special about a stand mounted television. Now, this is where they're going to do the AI functions. Now, I don't know if you see that baby, by the way, but holy shit, is that baby washed out. I've never seen a baby that washed out. I've never seen color that crappy. So let's see if that changes when we turn on AI Picture Pro. I mean, a little, not much. I mean, the color is lacking, definitely. And this is their example of what the AI Picture Pro is supposed to do. They showed me some washed out ass image and then how it was supposed to make it better. I'm gonna turn on AI Sound Pro as well. As you can hear, the sound just got more robust. We're gonna click next. Always ready. I mean, I guess I'll turn always ready on. I don't know if I really want to do that, but I'll leave it on for now. Why not? And now here is the opening sequence for the LG G4. Explore the world with your LG TV, basically. Okay. And here we are. Now they're showing us a quick little tutorial. Sign into your account, service cards and app list, recent inputs, smart TV experience like WebOS and all that. I'm gonna click out of that. I don't actually want that. I'm gonna exit that. Yeah, I mean, hopefully I can try to find the demo and manually play the demo, because LG's pretty good about giving you the demos, but I don't actually know that they're in here. So I will try to find, I mean, I probably don't even need to try to find an example of the store demos to play, but I will try, and then we're going to come back once we have something on the screen. So, and one of the more annoying things I'm running into right now, for whatever reason, my Xbox is not connecting to this TV. I have tried pretty much everything I can think of, right down to unplugging, restarting, everything, and I have no input for the Xbox. So we are not off to a great start as far as my inputs. I've tested all of them so far, except for like HDMI 1. I mean, that's really like the only other thing, and that's gonna be really cumbersome. So I don't know why. I mean, and again, my Xbox is on right now. I don't know why it won't work, but it's not connecting. And it actually is really frustrating the hell out of me, because I would have liked to connect this the right way. So I'm gonna spend a little bit more time trying to get this. If I can't, then we're gonna probably try to go on to the default store demo. I'm gonna be pretty upset, but at least this is part of the process where you get to know signal is just not happening right now. Okay, so it's not without frustration on my part, but we did finally get a signal. Thank the Lord. Okay, so now it's saying that to provide an optimized picture quality, the Ultra HD deep color will be turned on for the current HDMI port. While applying the settings, pictures or sound may not work properly, yada yada. I really don't care to read all this. They say if the issue persists, please revert the settings back, reboot, blah blah blah. We're just gonna say okay and just let it do what it does. I don't know what the connection issue was, but there was definitely a connection issue. Now that being said, I fired up a game to give you guys some real world out of the box examples, since all of your favorite YouTubers love to do this for amateur hour. This will give you a good idea of out the box what it looks like. We're gonna open up the settings first though, because I think it's important to go through some of the more advanced aspects of this television. So the first thing, when you hit the settings button, you have picture mode. Right, you can click on that, and then that will be a quick way of doing that. You can also go to advanced settings here, energy saving mode. You have your optical out, your sound, basically your sound out. Your device basically has the eye care mode, sleep mode, screen off, which is so useful for every OLED owner who wants to listen to music or needs to leave the room to take a crap or a piss and doesn't want to burn in their screen, multi-view, and a couple other things on here. But the one I'm interested in obviously is picture mode. So we're gonna go ahead and cycle through what we have. We have auto power save, we have cinema, we have sports, we have game optimizer, which looks like horse shit. My God, that's terrible. We have filmmaker mode, ISF expert bright, and we have expert dark. Personalized picture mode, vivid and standard, and back around. Now, these don't look particularly good out of the box. Again, I will be showing more examples of this. I'm not just going to stop here, but I'm going to go into the advanced settings just to go over what we have so far. So right now we have basically more of the same. Auto dynamic contrast. They ship with the peak brightness off. I'm not going to touch anything right now. I will be making settings later, but I'm showing you what it ships like. So you can see how the TV comes out of the box. We're just doing out of the box settings like all your favorite YouTubers. Well, this is what it looks like. Gamma and all that other stuff is kind of the same as it has always been. You have 1.9, 2.2, 2.4, and BT1886. Again, I won't be changing anything right now. Out of the box is what we're doing right now. Video range, auto, limited, and full. And then we have, and under the peak brightness options, we do have high, medium, and low. Same applies for our auto dynamic contrast. And then we go into our color options. We have our color depth, our color gamut, which is right now is set to dynamic. We have native, dynamic, and Adobe RGB. We have fine-tune color. It's on medium right now by default. You also have low, medium, and high and user selection for that. And of course, all that's grayed out. We have a white balance. You can calibrate up to the 22 points. You have 10 and 22. And again, you have it set to cold 20, which is the default. I don't know why they like a cold picture and think everybody wants one, but that's just what it is. Super resolution is set to medium. You have noise reductions on low, smooth gradations on low, but you have high, medium, low for all of them. Again, motion selections are about the same as they've always been. Under user selection, you have de-judder and OLED motion. You can click OLED motion on, but it's going to be a flickery mess. It's nowhere near as nice as it was back on the C1, and I still maintain that and complain about that because that is something that bothers me. But we put it back in the natural mode that they had. Again, not changing anything, giving it every bit of what it looks like out of the box. Again, personalized picture wizard. This is where you can go in and you can try to let the AI determine what your picture would look like, but it's kind of pointless because it still looks like crap anyway. And then you have all your various different modes. So we're in game mode, so we're just going to go to game mode, right? Because that's just the one-to-one. That's what we're doing, right? Now we're going to go into our, let's see, general accessibility, I believe. No, not accessibility, general. And then we go into AI service, and that's where we have a bunch of other things like AI brightness turned on by default. We have AI Sound Pro by default. So that kind of stuff is done by default. You have your game optimizer. That menu will pull up, and then the game optimizer is basically like your OLED motion, your darkroom mode. And in the darkroom mode, basically, you have level 1, you have level 2, and all it does is dim the hell out of your picture. So if you're in a dark room, I guess they want you to have even more dimming. Again, VRR, G-Sync, 144 Hertz booster, ALLM, fine-tune dark areas. You can change the color of the menu. You still have the same colors. They couldn't add any new colors. I don't know why. You have orange, you have green, and then you have violet. And that's kind of all you get, which I wish they would have added at least 2 more colors, but I'll leave that where it's at. I won't gripe too much about it. Then under picture, you have black stabilizer, white stabilizer, game contrast, game black level, adjust game sharpness, game color depth, wide aspect ratio, and then you go to the advanced picture settings. And then that menu will just bring you back to the main menu that you have here, where you kind of round out. But again, this is for all intents and purposes what it will look like out of the box. Now, I'm going to go ahead and lower down the sound here because I don't want to get a copyright, because I do have music always playing in my games. So we're going to go back into just the road, and we're going to go for a little drive here in game mode and just show you what it looks like. My initial impressions of game mode out of the box. It is horrible. Very flat, very green, a lot of green, while it's like a greenish blue. Like everything that should be green has like a overly like almost like seasickness look to it. That's the best way I could describe what it looks like out of the box. Seasickness. Foliage looks seasick. Everything looks seasick. And that's just what it looks like. And the red is not beautiful. It's still that ugly blood orange LG red that I've complained about for years. Again, don't know if that will be fixed once I calibrate the display, but you know, everybody that kind of says that you basically don't need to calibrate or shouldn't have to, everybody more or less kind of does tinker with their TV. They grab the remote at some point if you're a gaming enthusiast or something like that, and you're going to tinker. But if you don't, and you do what YouTubers like Stop the FOMO, Tech with KG, so on and so forth do, this is what it looks like. This is the picture that people like, Be the installer are bragging about. I mean, like, this is the picture they are looking at. It's an uncalibrated display that looks every bit as awful as I say it does. And, having to buy it to kind of tell you that out of the box it looks like trash is kind of pointless. I already knew it would be, but it is what it is. Again, But I wanted to show you at least a gaming example so you can see colors don't pop, nothing. It looks terrible out of the box. People are trying to sidestep that, trying to pretend like that's not the case. Again, not saying any one particular YouTuber is trying to do that. I'm just saying people in general that I've seen in the comment section more specifically are trying to say that this is not, you know, it's not what it is and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, no, it doesn't look fantastic when you just buy it, whip it out of the box and plug and play. If you're a plug and play type person, you're going to have a hard time getting the most out of your television. That's just not what these TVs do. But I'm going to start moving to a different example, and I'm going to show you the Spears & Munsell UHD benchmarking disc, and then we're going to go over into Filmmaker Mode to show you what that looks like. Okay, so here we are on the Spears & Munsell UHD benchmarking disc. We are in Filmmaker Mode. You can see it here. Filmmaker Mode has been selected. Okay, we're going to go back, and I will just tell you straight up, it is very, 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 very green in Filmmaker Mode. Everything is pale. Everything is washed out. It's flat. No contrast, or low contrast rather. I mean, it's really hard pressed to call this a premium picture. Like, very hard pressed. The horses look black and void of any real color. That looks like a damn near black and white image, like I've shown. I mean, I did not need to do this, but I do like to really drive my point home, like dramatically so just be ready for that, because I've had a lot of people giving me a lot of shit, right? When I try to say, hey, look, this looks terrible, these mountains, everything looks washed and dead, you know, it's not supposed to be pale like that. If you went to this place, right, in real life, it would not be dead like this. You would see a vibrant sunset, you'd see a lot of contrast, the sun beaming down on these rocks, you'd see all of that excellent detail. It would come to life. This would not be pale. People come here because it's a vibrant, beautiful place, right? A natural, reoccurring, I mean, I'm going to just say hot spring, but nobody could ever get in there without being boiled alive. But you get what I'm saying, right? Like, you would not see grass like this yellow and dead unless it was dead. The same goes for trees in the mountains. Same goes for the sky. I've never seen a sky not vibrant. The sun, this pale and muted. The point with all of this is to just kind of tell you, like, you know, we hear all the time about these expensive TVs. This TV, $2,500+ for just a 55-inch, same as the Samsung S95D. And I, just like the S95D, am not impressed with what the manufacturer is able to produce for us. In fact, I'm kind of disgusted by it because it's just showing me that they are not putting their best foot forward. This is lazy, in my personal opinion. Now, there are people that'll see this picture and glow about it and say, oh my gosh, I love the washed out colors. It's so natural. But like, have you ever, like, right, gone out in nature and seen a mountain that looks this dead? I have never seen a mountain this dead. Okay? Not ever. I've seen mountains that are vibrant. They have a lot of color to the rocks, everything. Water, I've never seen an ocean that dead. Look at this, it's like a black and white practically. This is what these purists are doing to televisions and telling you that this is the director's intent. This is what it's all about. And it's just disgustingly ridiculous to me. It's a farce at this point. Now, I'm showing this off day one out of the box so you get an idea of what the LG G4 actually looks like. Because you've likely heard that it's an amazing TV that holds its own with a quantum dot OLED and yada, yada, yada. I can tell you scientifically that is false. I will see side by side if hey, you know what? Maybe if there's some secret sauce this thing has, I will squeeze all of it out. But at the same point in time, out of the box, there's no flipping way, right, that we are ever going to get anywhere close to quantum dot level out of the box. It's just never going to happen. And people are telling you the G3 and the G4 are so like wildly like beyond different. They're so like far apart from each other. Like, they're not. They're the same damn TV more or less. And we keep seeing it over and over again. And multiple examples. And you can see it here. The dead butterfly. I mean, come on. The dead butterfly is kind of an indication of everything I'm talking about as well. Look at this. Look at this flower. Look at the dead wings. Look at the dead grass in the back. Look at the highlighter yellow kind of coming in off of the orange. Look at how pale everything is. The flowers are like a blood orange color, not a vibrant, rich red at all. This is like the sparks flying off are pale. Literally everything about the image is pale. Now we can also say like, well, you know what? We might not want to use, you know, Filmmaker Mode. And then to which I'll say, okay, well, if you're not using Filmmaker Mode, then we can try to go into a different mode. No real point to go into a different mode, but we can. We can go into something like cinema, right? And we can just try that. But again, I don't see a point. Look at the red, look at all the colors. Everything just looks flat. Now this is the LG G4 out of the box. Again, day one. I'm being extraordinarily thorough so that I can prove my point. And the point is simply this. You need to at least tinker with your TV. Do not take this out of the box. Do not do a comparison like this. If you want, I can do a comparison. Let me know in the comment section down below if you want me to do a tech what KG did. And just do a comparison without calibrating and say it represents people who don't want to calibrate. Hey, if that's you and you don't want to calibrate and you want to see how crappy this TV actually is, I'm here to show you. I'm here for it. I'll show you all the ins and outs of how terrible this TV looks. Look at this. Look how pale this is right now. You ever been anywhere in nature that looks like this? Ever. But this is what they're saying is natural. Like, this is natural to these people. I think they need their eyes checked, quite literally. They are colorblind, quite literally colorblind. This has no color. What are they doing? And this is the cinema mode. I upped it, right? Like, if you look, I changed it from the Filmmaker Mode. So we can't even say it's just Filmmaker Mode, right? Okay, but everyone's not going to watch it that way. Let's watch it in standard. Okay, we can watch it in standard mode too, because I'm very dramatic, right? To which, again, it gets brighter. Okay, that's great. But at the same time, brighter isn't always what we want. We want color. We want, as they say, accuracy of color, right? Where it looks realistic. And I don't know, man. I just have not seen an image in nature that's like clipped out like this and it just looks bad the way that this does. I mean, look at this alligator. I'm going to do this in like Filmmaker Mode because why not? Because look at that. Look at the expert mode. I'm going to run that alligator back too because that's just not, you're not getting away with that, right? We're going to probably fast forward a little bit and then I'll rock that on Filmmaker Mode just to show you the expert mode that they were bragging about being so wonderful and so great. Not wonderful, not great, not in the least, right? And yes, this is going to be a very long unboxing video, but the point is to show you what it looks like. Look at it. I mean, have you ever seen that in nature? Have you ever seen a parrot without vibrant color? I've never seen it. If you've seen it, link it below. I'd love to see a dead-looking parrot. Never seen it. I mean, you might be able to make an argument for seeing owls with dead feathers and ugly color, but this is kind of a toughie, right? Like, now mind you, I've heard a lot about the LG G4 and how wonderful it is and how three-dimensional and how bright it is and how it's glorious, but like, how is everybody arriving at that conclusion when most of them are not calibrating? They're rocking default settings. What really is everyone looking at? I feel like at some point it's just people sipping the Kool-Aid and listening to reviewers tell them it's great, and then they feel like it's great, and so they trick their mind and go, yeah, I see what you're talking about, when in reality they can't see it just like I can't see it, just like I'm seeing flat examples across the board. And again, I'm not doing anything to this TV. People can say whatever they want. I can show you in real time. These are the default setups. These are the default settings. I don't have to do anything to color or any other metric. I don't care who wins. That's the thing about me that makes me, I guess, a threat to all the other YouTubers. I don't care who wins. I will rock it exactly the same way they have it. I will keep it in every bit of its integrity. I don't need to sit here and lie. I don't have to do what they do. Fudge the truth. Because the truth will come out eventually, that everything looks dead on this damn display out of the box. Hopefully this shows you guys something, because I'm trying my hardest to give you guys the reality here that most are not going to do. You are going to pay $2,500 for this. And if you do not hire a calibrator, know how to calibrate or tinker yourself, your picture is going to look flat, man. That's just real. It's not going to be the three-dimensional LG G4 experience that everybody's lying and bragging about just out of the box. It doesn't exist. That being said, though, I would love to know what you guys thought about this unboxing / showcase of the out-of-the-box settings. Again, there will be more comparison. There will be more content. Let me know what you guys want to see. We are going to go completely balls to the walls on this thing. But until the next video, I'll see you guys later.